Hey guys, welcome back to the 101 and 10. I'm your host, Ayasha Roberson, and I'm here with a special guest today. I have Mr. Ronan Furlong from the UK, and he is going to be talking to us about his music, his musical talent, his gifts, how he got started with his music. And we're also going to be talking about his new music as well and where you can find it playing on throughout this interview. So thank you. Roland, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here, and greetings from Ireland.
Sorry, Ireland.
It's not quite as warm here as it is in the States. You guys are having a fairly hot time of it, but it's always Ireland and the US have a very strong bond together. So it's always great to be talking to someone in the US.
Yes.
So yeah, thanks for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for rearranging your time because I know that you guys are ahead of us. So let's get into your music. So your musical style is so eclectic and it's just very different. How did you come up with your music, your style?
Well, I'm interested in a broad range of music, and I'm exposed to everything from Irish kind of Celtic music to pretty hard rock stuff. I also like, softer music as well, Leonard Cohen and things like that. So I have a very broad musical palette, and I think it's very important for an album to be as interesting as possible. So by trying different styles and genres, if you can pull it off, it makes it more interesting as a listening experience. So I do try, and like some of the bands I love, I love Queen, for example, are an amazing band, and the Beatles, another very good band, obviously. But one of the things both those bands have in common is they touched on many different styles, and even a band like Led Zeppelin, be regarded as a kind of a hard rock band, they did touch on many different aspects, and it makes the albums more interesting. So you try and emulate the masters, I suppose. I'm not saying I'm at that level, but you can be influenced by them.
Correct.
So it's to make it as interesting as possible, and I suppose because I'm playing for a long time now, I can attempt a few different things as well.
Now, can you share with me how many musical instruments do you play? Because I don't really find that a lot with artists. They can just go from one instrument to the next and then also write their music as well. And I think you're multi-talented when it comes to that. So can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, well, the primary instrument for me is the guitar, because it's such a versatile instrument. That's my bass instrument, and that's what I spend most time doing. But I started off life as a drummer, and I played the Irish bowron as well. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like a percussion instrument that you play handheld, when you beat it with your wrists and stuff. So my base is in percussion and drumming, and I developed into guitar basically because I was in a band and the guitarist left. So I got conscripted into playing guitar, and I really like that because you can, is more scope for expression. But I do love drumming as well. And I play bass as well, and I play I do play keyboards and things like that, but I wouldn't like to. The guitar is the main thing for me, because I think as soon as you start trying to do too many different things, you can be kind of a jack of all trades and master of none, if you know what I mean. So you need to have one thing that is your main thing, and that for me would be the guitar and the vocals, I suppose, and the lyrics, and the lyrics are very important to me as well. To be honest with you, it's a big part of it for me, and so. So whilst I can play, a number of instruments, I'm very keen. It could sound very bland if you try to do everything up to a certain standard. You're better off, I feel, for me anyway, picking something and trying to get good at that and get the others to a level that would complement that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It really does. And I like the fact that you said that, you have all these different talents and you can play the bass, you can play the drums, but the guitar is something that really kind of you coned into, and you were able to kind of keep that as your main focus as an artist. And it seems like other things grew from that as well, because that was
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And but I do like, I love bass playing. I love the really great bass players like Chris Squire from Yes, and Geddy Lee from Rush, and these kind of guys, and John Deacon, really great, and John Entwistle. So I love them. I love those guys. But you've got to kind of know your limitations, I feel.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So what I would do is when I record something, I would record a number of songs, and then I would come and do the bass separately and try to get into like a bass zone. rather than just pick it up for one song. So do like a number of songs, do the bass for those. So you get, because it's a totally different instrument, the guitar, you know what I mean? You have to think differently. It's a rhythm section really, as you know. So, you know what I mean? So I kind of do it in kind of clumps like that, as opposed to just doing a song and picking up the bass and playing straight away. I try getting a bass zone and then do a number of songs. Is that, if you know what I mean? So you're kind of at a certain level, you know.
Yes, exactly.
If you can, try to be, you know.
Now, I love the way you write your music. Now, how do you come up with the music and inspiration for writing your music? Because that's a gift.
Oh well, thank you very much. Thankfully, many people have the gift, but I'm so for me the music always comes first. But what I do is, and you know, so I'd be playing, and if I'm in a creative vein, a lot of songs might come in a short space of time, and you have to grab them while they're hot because you can't remember them. Do you know what I mean? So you have to literally. That's where the phones are great, because you can literally record something. And often you might wake up with an idea in your head, a musical thing, and you kind of grab it while it's hot, as I said, because you could forget it so easy. It just doesn't come back to you because you're not using your brain or your mind. You're using something else. It's coming from somewhere else. Not to sound pretentious, but and what I do then is I try, when I put lyrics to it, I would always have a little repository of themes I want to explore. And if a melody comes to me that I think is good, then I'll see, well, what theme might suit this, you know what I mean? Or do you want to tell a story? Or so sometimes it's telling the story from the perspective of somebody, like you're literally telling someone's journey. Like I have a song called Persian Sun, and it's about a foot soldier in the army of Alexander the Great and his experiences. And then you have other songs, you know, and you kind of tell the story through his eyes. And then there's other songs where, you know, lyrically be very influenced by philosophy and history and things like that. So, and there's so much that's such a deep world. There's so much you can sing about and write about. So there's no shortage of things for me to want to sing about. It's just, is it interesting? Does it complement the song? Because it shouldn't sound like, you know, it's not, it shouldn't sound pretentious, and it also shouldn't sound like work to the listener. You know, it's entertainment. They should enjoy it. You know, it's not, you don't want to think, oh God, I need a degree in philosophy or something to listen to it. It's not like that. It's just trying to be thought-provoking, you know? And something a bit fresh and a bit different is very important to me, because there's so much of certain genres out there. You know, if I'm ever to get anyone to listen to me, I need to do something that's a little bit different, I think, you know?
Correct. And I think too, when it comes to your music, like, you really, as a songwriter, you have to really feel what you're actually writing, and that has to be able to be implemented and translated into the music as well. And it has like a nice flow to it. You can actually feel it instead of just hearing it. I think that's
yes totally. So for me, I will like literally have things I know I want to sing about or write about, and I just wait for the right song, and then I say, that's great, now I get an opportunity, and I'm motivated to do it, and it should hopefully come true in the song if I've done it right, that it sounds like I care what I'm singing about, as opposed to, oh, I've got this melody, I better come up with some lyrics quick and knocking something out that rhymes with the song. You know, that's fine. Other people do that. That's grand. But again, it's not how I go about it, rightly or wrongly. You know, it's a more different approach.
Now let's talk about your latest single, Let It Rain. Can you tell me about that song and how you came up with that song and got that song together?
Well, actually, that I have to say, that is one of the rare examples of a song where I didn't go into huge depth on the lyrics, because I was very happy with the riff of the song, and I wanted it to be like a kind of almost like a classic rock song kind of thing, and riff based. I also wanted to have a number of changes throughout the song, and I wanted to get some Celtic guitar stuff on the electric guitar, and you hear that towards the end of the song, the kind of a Celtic guitar thing takes off. Because so the way that song was designed was, it's based around a riff, which I like. I like the riff, to be honest. It's an A minor riff, but I keep trying to keep it interesting. So you have there's a number of other little sections within it. If you follow the song through, there's a bridge, there's a middle 8-bit, there's the Celtic guitar bit at the end, there's a solo. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to keep the listener interested in the song. But lyrically, that was one of the few songs I would say where the lyrics almost presented themselves with the riff. when I was kind of singing to it, and the lyric "Let It Rain," and I said, "Oh yeah, I like that." And it's almost like, let it happen, let it happen. I don't care. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with everything. So let it rain, bring it on. You know what I mean? It's kind of affirmative. Yeah, exactly. I don't care if it rains, let it rain. Because I feel good with this song and I'm bopping along. So that's that might be a little bit different to what the kind of method I would normally use, but I feel it worked for that song anyway.
It did. And
sometimes you can't overthink. You don't overthink it. If it feels good.
You just let it flow. And that's one of my favorite songs that I listen to on Indie Live Music Radio. So I really, really like that song. So good job.
Oh, thank you.
I want to know.
Oh, that's brilliant. You've made my day now. That's mighty. That's great news. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Isn't that amazing? Now you're over in New Jersey, and I'm over in Ireland, and you're listening to that and you're enjoying it, and I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because one of the things I like about music is that I feel like with me, I have to really feel it to really understand the musical tones, and it's just something about it. It's I can't really explain it, and that's one of the things that you were saying. When you get into your creative vibe, you really can't explain how you get some of the creativity and the words and the music, and everything just kind of comes together. And that's what I feel when I hear the music.
Yes.
Something that just speaks to me, and it's something that I really, really feel. And I think, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
Well, no, I mean, there's a number of very interesting examples of that. But as I said earlier, you don't use your head or your brain to write a song.
Correct.
If you do, it sounds mechanical. It's wherever it comes from. Yeah. Maybe it's your subconscious, or someone else of a mystical nature might have a different view. Who am I to say? But all I know is they kind of get presented to you if you're in a certain frame of mind, and then it gets turned off again. And you could have months go by and there's nothing, and then they come like a flood. And like I was hearing about Richie Blackmore, he's the guitarist in Deep Purple, a brilliant band, and they were saying that they went to make this Machine Head album. That's the famous one that had Smoke on the Water. And they were saying like the songs are flowing out of him over a 2-week period. Every time he picked up a guitar, a new song, and he said, right, grab it. And then it just was gone again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or you'd hear like Paul McCartney talking about yesterday. He woke up humming that song and he assumed someone else had written it. And he played it for his friend and said, who wrote that? That's a nice song. And they were like, you wrote that. And he didn't, you know what I mean? It was just there in a place. So it's funny. So, and that's why they're great songs, and so I totally agree. It has to, if it doesn't feel authentic, the listener knows they know, like,
exactly,
move on. There's so much to listen to now,
Correct. And that's why it's all about authenticity when it comes to me, and it's all about, that creative vibe. And I would like to say, can you tell our viewers where can they book you for a show or find your music?
Well, the music is on all platforms, or at least it should be. I know it is. It's on all, whatever music platforms you use for your music. It should be available just under my name, Ronan Furlong. And I have a Facebook page, Ronan Furlong Music, and there's a website and stuff as well under my name. But the music shouldn't be hard to find. I have a YouTube channel as well, if you'd like to have a little look at that. So it shouldn't be too hard to find if you have my name, really. One thing I must say I'd love to, I've never played. I was lucky enough to work in America years ago in California. I loved it. I really loved it. But I'd love to, I never played a gig over there. So I'll have to try rectify that, play some music in America. I'd love to do that.
Cool beans. So if you guys are in California, you're looking for an artist who's neglected, that has this very different flow when it comes to his style of music, please book him. All my California listeners and viewers, and make sure you listen and tune in to Indie Live Music Radio, where you can hear his song Let It Rain as well. And again, like Roland said, his music is on all major platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, and then you can also go to his website as well. I believe it's www.rolandfurlongmusic.com. Is that your website?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
You're welcome. Thank you. And that is it for the 1 on 1 and 10, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is the 1 on 1 and 10, where I get to actually interview an artist 1-on-1 for 10 minutes, where you get to find out what's going on with all the artists amazingly around the world. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to tuning in for you guys tuning in next week to our show. Have a good day. I'm so excited. I'm getting tongue-tied. Have a good day. And thank you so much, Roland, for this interview. I learned so much about your music. I am a huge fan of yours. I'm looking forward.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be on and an honor to be on, and I appreciate you taking the time and your interest. And I like it's great to hear you enjoyed the song over in America. That's mighty.
Definitely. And we will definitely be connecting with you soon. All right, guys, take care and be safe.